Hey, what's up, guys? John to get into the video. I want to talk to you guys. I want to tell you guys a story, and that happened to me back when I was in middle school, and it was a really messed up thing that until this day I'm not really proud of because it was just a whole mess and it was just plain sick. And but if you guys were like, you know, when I'm done telling the story, you guys be the judge and leave a like. If you like this, if you are going to like the story or you like this story, leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if brand new, and comment down below if you want to see another type of story like this. Without being said, let's get right into the story. So, first off, we have this. All of us, we have this teacher that she doesn't really like us, and we don't really get along with her. Don't get me wrong, we sometimes we get this awesome badass teacher like Mr. Turner. Um, but yeah, we had I had that teacher, and you know I had her for math and English. Math and English, and few of my friends. I was like kind of half a popular, not so popular, but you know, um, just I had a few friends, and I was just I had some friends, and I was just the quiet guy sometimes. I was the guy who didn't break a plate. So the teacher, we're gonna nickname her. Oh, we did nickname her. Me and my friends, we nickname her Mrs. Gabu Gabu. I'll tell you guys why. Because she was really big. She's probably in the 600 pounds or something, and her neck and chin was like size of a turkey. So you know the story just commences. I was like, she used to just give us homework, and I used to do my homework, and she didn't really think much of it. And this one time, and this was for my math class. She gave this story is when out in my math class. So this one time I went to school, and I didn't really think much of it. I had this gut feeling, but I didn't really pay much attention to it, and I just thought it was just gonna be a regular day. you know. So I was really looking forward to, like, I don't know, 3 o'clock, because that's around the time that we got out. We used to go in at 8. The class used to start around 8:45, I think. But the school that I went to, it's like 2 minutes in car from my house, and it's like 10 minutes walking. And I used to take my bike, so it used to take me like 5 minutes to get there. And that's the this that school this school, it's the only middle school in my town, the only one. So we have a elementary school, and we have a middle school, but we do have a high school, but it's like maybe like 20 minutes drive. It's kind of in the outskirts. It's a kind of little small town and shit. But back to the story. So she gave me this one time. I took my homework and turned it in to her or whatever in my math class. It was my math homework. So you know like I said before, I did my homework, and back before, she didn't really say much of it. She was like, okay, fine, good job or whatever. But this one time, she kind of like told me, hey, we need to stay for break. And I told her, I'm like, well, what's wrong? And she was like, hey, um you just need to stay for break. And I was like, what's wrong, dude? My homework. She's like, well, this is this and this and this. So I was like, so it is my math homework. And she was like, yeah, it's your math homework. I'm like, she's like, oh, you need to fix some errors. And I was like, well, just give it back and I'll turn it in tomorrow. Like, I'll take it tonight. You know, I'll take it tonight. I'll work on it. You know, correct it or whatever, and then bring it back tomorrow. And she was like, no, no, you are gonna stay for break. You're gonna, you know, you're gonna stay for break. You're gonna, you know, stay and work on it, and you know that's that. And I was like, well, you can't really keep me against my will because it's by law that every student needs to needs to you know have a break hour or at least go out to break or for a walk or so and so when it's their break time by law. And at this point, she was really getting upset because I was talking back to her, to my teacher, but you know, she was like, "Oh, but you," I was like, "Well, so and so," and then she just got upset, and I think she's like told her assistant. She told her assistant to to that she was gonna go to the teacher's lunch or whatever, and her assistant was like, "All right," you know, and she told her assistant like, "Oh, make sure the student or whatever," because at this point, you know, it was like 5 minutes till 5 or 4 minutes until recess, and I was like, whatever, and she told her assistant like, make sure he does not go to break or recess or whatever, and I was like, I was like, I really wouldn't need to go to recess or whatever, and I told the teacher before she left, I'm like, can I go please use the restroom because I had a big meal this morning. I had something to drink really big this morning, and I just, you know, you need to go use the restroom. And she told me, she's like, no, you can't use the restroom. I'm like, why? Because I'm your teacher and I said so. I'm like, oh, so the, in my mind I was like, you dying, you know, I was like thinking other ways to, you know, but and I didn't really say much of it, and then I kept on insisting. I was like, hey, can I please go use the restroom? Can I please go use the restroom? And she told me no, and then she just left. And at this point, I told her assistant, I'm like, can I just please go use the restroom? I really need to go. I need to go number one, and you know, I just can't hold it or whatever. And you know, she was like, no, like you can't really go. And I'm like, why? She's like, oh, because you're her teacher. You can't go. So I was like, you know, I was really bummed out or whatever. And I was still, I kept on insisting to the assistant. I was like, can you please? I kept telling her, can I please go use the restroom? I need to go use the restroom. And she's like, no, no, no. And until until I said to her, like, come on, like I need to go use the restroom. Just I will be back. I'll be quick. You know, I always just go to the ones that are close by. Because in my school or back in my middle school, there was two restrooms, one by the cafeteria and one in the outskirts of, you know, over there were near my classroom, which was like a 2 minute walk. You know, it was not really that far. Um, and she's like, well, fine, let's go use the restroom. But she's like, she told me, hurry up before the teacher comes back or whatever. And I told her, okay, fine, you know. So I went to go use the restroom, and then when I turned the corner, you know, there she was, and she told me, she was like, what the hell are you doing? I was like, she screamed at me. She was like, hey, what the hell are you doing? I was like, I need to go use the restroom. She's like, no, get back to class. And I was like, why? And she was like, because I'm your teacher. And at this point, I was really getting tired because that was the only card that she knew that I'm the teacher. I'm the teacher. Please tell me, if you're a teacher and you're dying and you need a kidney, do I, just because I'm your student, am I forced to donate your kidney just because you're my teacher? Heck no. You know, she was playing that card because I'm the teacher card, and I was like, come on, I just like say something else because you're just. I didn't really say it, I was just thinking it, but you know, at this point, she was. At this point, you know, it's in schools, it's a big no-no but apparently she did not she not went to, or she didn't take the tour when she became a teacher, because you know she she started like putting her hands on me. She was starting to pull. She was starting to push me, and she even told me, like, she pulled me and said, "Hey, you need to get a class. Like, you're gonna get, I'm gonna give you detention if you don't get to class." And I was like, I told her, like, I was like, I think I'm already in detention, and she got mad because I said that. She was keeping me against my will, so she just got mad and started, like, And at this point, me and her started going back and forth. She was pulling every single chance that she got because I'm your teacher card, and I was really getting tired of hearing that, So I was like, okay, like, whatever. And so she started, so the um her assistant was like, we're gonna we're gonna call the principal because this is no, this is a behavior. No, I was like, why? Like, why are you gonna call the principal for something I didn't fucking do? Like, this is unfair. She's like, well, life is unfair. So I told, I was like, okay, whatever. And and so she was started arguing, and then the principal was like, well, you should she's like, what's the problem? And I told him, like, hey, I did my homework last night, and I did try my best, and you know and she's keeping me here because she thinks I did my homework wrong, and she made me miss my recess, and so. And I was like, he was like, well, she's a teacher and she has the right to, or whatever. And I was like, well, I have the right to a break too. Can't just keep me like in, you know, in the classroom for like a slave or whatever. And at this point, he was like, well, if you don't straighten up, if you don't listen to her, we're gonna call your mom. And I was like, well, call her. I'm like, you think I'm afraid of my mom? Like, I told her, like, the only time I'm scared of my mom is when she has a big old chancla. And I was like, he was like, what the hell is that? I'm like, it's a sandal, a big old Mexican sandal. If because my teachers were white. They were like white, white, white. And so I think, so she was like, he was like, we're gonna call your mom. I was like, okay, fine, whatever, call her. So, so they called my mom, and then my mom came in or whatever. And at this point, me and her were still arguing. We were still arguing back and forward, and then she started pushing me, like, for real, for real. She started pushing me. She went behind me and started pushing me to the classroom, and I was just like, fighting, fighting her off because I really wanted to go use the restroom. And when when my mom saw this, because she started pushing me, and as soon as she started pushing me, my mom was barely walking in around the corner, because like I said before, her I think she got home early that day, and like I said, it's a 2-minute drive from our house to the school. So she saw much of it. And then when that happened, she didn't say really much. She was just observing. And when we turned the corner, cause when we turned the corner to enter the classroom, I started to just push her back, and you know, and at this point she was like, thinking that she was Superman or something like that, So she was pushing me, and I was pushing her back or whatever. And at this point, I let her, like, think she was all that and all that. So, so I was like just thinking, how am I gonna how can I get some distance? Because at this point, she was grabbing my wrist and she was really hurting my wrist. So and she was pushing me as well. She was trying to do her best to get me back inside the into the classroom. And I was like, just thinking. So she got close to me, like up close and personal, your private kind of space, your own little area. So that's how close she got to me. So I quickly thought, how can I make her, so and so. And at this point, my mom was like slowly walking towards us, you know. So what I did, I, you know, went forward a little bit, put my feet behind her feet, cause at this point she was facing me. At this point she was facing me. I was literally in front of the door of the classroom. She was trying to push me back in, and also she was in front of me and she was trying to push me, and I guess she didn't saw when I slide my feet in and behind her feet. So at this point I was ready, so I she started pushing me and then I started pushing back and she got angrier, and you know what you call it, and she started pushing me back and I started pushing back, and my mom was like literally walking forward and so and so. So what I did, I had so as you guys remember, I had my feet behind her feet, and I had my other feet in the outside, like out of the way. So what I did was I took a dive. If you guys don't know wrestling terms, I basically dropped. I fell on purpose. And while I doing so, I made it seem like she pushed me, and she took herself with me. Like I made it seem like she that she tripped me, but I honestly I tripped her because when I fell I twisted my feet and then I grabbed her, and then I made her kind of lose her balance a little bit there, and that's what my mom saw. But a little whiner or complainer, she was like, and when she fell and she was like crying and like because she had she had a really long nails. I'm telling you this. She had like huge ass fucking nails. Like Kim Kardashian does not come close. There were like maybe a 1 meter fucking long ass fucking nails. And my friend, I played with him in a while. We yesterday were playing Tony Hawk in the new game, so he can confirm that this story. So when I tripped her, I made it seem like I said I made it seem like she tripped me, and my mom saw this, and my mom got really upset. At this point, she was like, and so, and she at this point I was kind of having a mental breakdown because she was this and this and this and this, but I was halfway. I could think half my mind was there, half of my other mind was having a mental breakdown, and once my mom saw this, and um the teacher, once she saw my mom, she literally freaking freaked out. She was like, she literally got up off the floor so freaking fast, and the principal, like I guess they called back the principal, and the principal and the vice principal came, and we were having a little meeting in the classroom and whatever, and they're like, well, your kid didn't want to follow instructions or whatever, and the teacher was like crying, and then the principal was attending to the teacher instead of attending to his own student, what they're responsible for. And I can hear you guys in the comments. You're gonna be like, "What the hell, John? Like you're the one who faked it. You took a dive, basically, and you took her with you." Well, at this point, I did that because at this point I was really getting freaked out and pissed off because I just wanted to go. I had like $4 or $5 on me, and I wanted to go get a bagel. You know, if you didn't have a bagel when you were in middle school or high school, if you didn't have a bagel with cream cheese, nacho cheese, and some hot Cheetos on top, you did not have a proper school year. Because that was the rage back then. I don't know about now. My my little sister is already in college, so I don't really know. You know, but that was the rage back then. So you know. So this happened, and then the principal was like, hey, like he told Miss Gobble Gobble, she's like, are you alright? Like, did you broke or something? She was like hecka crying at this point. She was like crying, and she was giving me the game face. I was like, I was like, the rattlesnake. I was ready for round two. If she wanted to fucking get another tripped ass, I would have fucking, you know. But of course, I didn't want to end up in and Juby Hall, whatever. And at this point, when my mom came, they're like, oh, we're gonna have to call the sheriffs because your son put his hand on the teacher or whatever, and it's a assault or whatever. And I explained my because the teachers did not know Spanish, and the assistant kind of did, and I told my mom in Spanish. I was like, you know, like I turned in my homework. I told her like I turned in my homework, and she was, saying that I didn't really do my homework when you actually saw me doing my homework last night, and part of it, I did part of it, and I finished the other part today when I got to school. Um, and she was like, well, so and so. I was like, well, and she's like, well, then what happened? Why she, wants you to so and so? Because I was like, because supposedly I didn't really do my homework. That she found some errors in my math homework, and she's like, well, you could have just stayed here. I'm like, yeah. I was like, I told her, yeah, mom, but last week or yesterday or this few days, she has not been. I turn my homework and I get some errors here and there. I'm not perfect, but I told my mom, like, how come if she really wanted, like, I'm like, if you think about it, how come if I didn't really do well, like in the other papers, how come she's already making it a big deal? And she's like, oh, well, you have a point. I was like, see, like she was just like she wanted something or whatever, and I was like, well, yeah, so and so, and mom was like, well, and then so mom was like, okay, I'm gonna have to talk to the principal, see if we can get this figured out, and so and so. So we talked to the principal, and the principal keep on insisting that that I pushed the teacher, and you know I make sure there need no trace. So I mean, of course I pushed the teacher, but they can't prove it. I told you guys, like, I made it seem like an accident, but that's not the point. The point is that we're having this argument, and they called, like, your kid is gonna be suspended. I mean, yeah, suspended for for a week, or at least a week or 2 weeks. And my mom, she's like, well, this assault is gonna go permanent on his permanent record. And my mom's like, well, I don't want that to go on his permanent record, or so and so. And so we called the district, and the guy, I don't know what they call it, but the school district. So the president or whatever, the guy who runs the show, came and was like, I explained to him what happened, and he was like, and I explained to him that she was the first one who laid hands on me, and I was just defending myself because I told her to stop, and which I did. I told her, like, hey, you can't grab me like this, just stop. That's not okay. And she was like, well, I'm your teacher, and like I said, she was the only thing she know how to say. And at this point, we like, we called the district, and the guy came, and they're like, oh, so the principal was like hella fucking scared, and the teacher was like hella fucking scared, but she was hecka crying because she broke her nail, on the fall, and she was still giving me the mean face, and I was like, just trying to live my life on a quarter mile at a time, but I was like, can I just, like, so and so. So at this point, they also called the sheriff, and they came, and they're like, hey, boy, that's not right for you to put your hands on a teacher. I was like, I didn't really put my hands on the teacher. Like, well, I heard that you tripped her, and I was like, I didn't trip her. like she pushed me and I fell with her. That's the whole different other game. And I told her on top of that she started to like, you know, touching me first or whatever, and she was and they're like, oh, all against us and whatever. So you know, it was a really messed up, you know, thing to do for her. Now that I think about it, to force me into staying into the classroom just because, um, and I didn't do my homework, and you guys. So back to the story. So we, you know, I got a week's, I think 1 or 2 weeks worth of detention, and then, you know, after I came back, she didn't really talk to me as much. She didn't even look at me, which that was fine for me. Like I don't really like her in the first place, and it was just, you know, a really messed up thing to do. Like I literally had, if you think about it, I had the principal against me, I had her assistant, and the only person who actually believed me how my story played out or how the things play out was my mom and the director, the county director or whatever his name is called, or whatever they're called. That's who who those two. So we had this whole argument, and my mom actually got a lawyer, and to fight off that thing didn't go on my permanent record. So you know, it took like 3 or 5 months to get that solved and shit. But like I said, like let me know down in the comments if you ever, back when you were in middle school or high school, if you ever had that same teacher who forced you to do shit like just because they have the power. You know, let me know down in the comments if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys enjoyed my story. Drop a like down below, subscribe if you're brand new to this channel. Um, you know, feel free to browse my channel. Um, you know, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. And then, like I said, leave a like, comment down below if you'd like to see or hear another story, because I have tons of stories to tell. A lot of shit happened to me when I was young, and yeah, like let me know down in the comments down below if you ever had a teacher just like this. Like I said, I don't want to make this video like a tutorial. I just want to, you know, tell you guys a story. You know, sit down, have a coffee, and all that crap. You know. Well, with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay away from the haters and stay frosty. Peace.